All right, got us a little Sunseeker here, just a little Class C. So we shall go up and take a look. It's an acrylic roof. A lot of times you find issues right in here. You can see how much booger they put on here. Right here, they just keep slobbering all this stuff on here. That's it. That's the way the RV industry wants you to do this. Put more on, more on. You keep slobbering down there. So, one of the issues that I'm looking at right now, and this is some of the issues that I bring up all the time. I don't know if you can actually see it. The air conditioner looks like it's sunk in just a little bit. So where's the concern on that? You can even see it right there, actually. All right, so see all that? That's an issue. That's an issue. The same issue you're going to have. Let me back this up. Sometimes I know I talk too fast and probably too much. But I've been doing these so long, and I try to stress these points to folks so they know where and how they can spend their money the best way possible. But over here where that puddle is, on the other side there's a hump. So obviously there's some delamination up underneath here. So what's caused this here is probably a gasket failure. These will happen. These roofs are put on wrong. They put on wrong right from the factory on purpose. They want them to fail. Going around just cutting a hole, put a square hole, putting some butyl on the bottom side of that vent, and then just slobbering, put 28 screws in it, slobbering, self-leveling on it, and calling that sealed is not the right way to do it. So this is a common issue that you're going to find with any roof that's done this way. So with a spray-on or a roll-on roof system, you're still going to have this problem. They do not guarantee the gasket. So people say, hey, I'm gonna have that roof done. Okay, go right ahead. Well, what are you gonna do with this? This has to be fixed. When we pull that up, you're gonna see how much damage is underneath here. That's not covered. It's not covered under your warranty, so now you're gonna have to fix it. And you're gonna have to tear up all the product that they put down, make the repair. Once you make the repair, then you have to go back to them and have to put it back on. But it still doesn't solve the problem. In other words, it's going to happen again. So when it happens again, you're going to be back doing it again. That's just not the right way to do it. These need to be up on curbs. And that's what we build here. I custom build every curb for the air conditioner, I build them for the vents, build them for the skylight, everything. The plumbing, I do it all. So I'm also going to get that antenna off the roof line, and I'm going to elevate it up. But you're going to see all this when we put it together. But this is the issue that I have. This is something that is not going to get corrected by putting a spray-on roof or a roll-on roof system. And if you take the time to actually read these warranties instead of all the hype, you're going to see that I'm right. And some people say that I'm bashing them. I'm not bashing them at all. It just doesn't work for the long term. You're still going to have that same issue. It's a gasket sitting on a roof, unprotected from the elements. It's going to fail. So when they're up on a curb, they're protected. They're protected with counter flashing. And that's what I build into the curbs. And then I also have counter flashing on here, being here, the air conditioner. So it's all protected. So it can't leak. You're not going to have that failure. We don't have those failures. So, and this is, again, to me, is a really big issue. And we've repaired quite a few of them. You can go through the channel, and there's very few, I'm not going to say every single one, but there are very few campers that we open up that don't have damage. And some that the ones that we do open up, we have just like caught it. There was some damage, but like maybe dampness or something is what I'm getting at. The last one we did was, let's see, that I can remember, that I don't think it's even posted. It may be by the time you're watching this though. It's a Forester. That had a little bit of damage on the other side where the shoulder is, because it was just like this, and it had a little bit of damage right here from this. The caulking failed. So, but we caught it in time, but it would have failed and it would have just ruined that roof as well. So this is why I bring all these things out. The roofs are wrong, and I just hate to see people spend money twice. It doesn't make sense. You trust people, and Hey, lifetime warranty, lifetime warranty. I've been doing roof systems for 40 years, 4 decades, and I have never ever seen a lifetime roof. If it was a lifetime roof system, why are these big commercial buildings, why are they not putting that on? You would imagine that somebody who has a skyscraper, especially we'll say in a downtown area, like whatever, major city, any major city, pick one, and they have a big building there, could be an apartment building, could be an office building, whatever. They would want to have that roof system on there, because when they have to redo that roof, there is a lot of added costs into doing a roof, especially in a downtown area. So some of those issues are permitting to cut off sidewalks, and to get product up to a roof. Generally, you need a crane to get all that stuff up on a roof. All this stuff costs money. So why would somebody not want to go, hey, let me just do this roof with this lifetime stuff and be done with it? Or how about a shopping mall? These massive shopping malls. Imagine how much money they would save, you know, by putting that type of roof system on there. Or even these assembly plants that have acres and acres of roofs, right? Why would they not be doing it? And you can go online yourself and you can look up commercial contractors that do those type of coatings, because that's what they are. Not one of them say lifetime. Not one. There's not one company out there that does the same product on a commercial application that say it's lifetime. So, you know, that's something to think about. Like I said, I hate to see people spend money twice, and a lot of the stuff that we do actually could be prevented if the manufacturer took the time to put these up on curbs, make curbs. They're not going to, but if they did, then that would solve a lot of problems right off the rip. But they don't do it because it's just added costs for them. It's added labor. And any flat roof that you look at, again, go back up online and look up commercial flat roof images anywhere in the world, anywhere. It could be Italy, Brazil, Russia, doesn't matter. Look it up and you're gonna see any flat roof has these vents, air conditioners, skylights, exhaust fans, those type things. They're all up on a curb. So all of humanity knows that you need to have curbs on a flat roof, except for an RV. So, and even, who's the other guy there with RV Armor? He's got a video out, and you can go to his page and watch it yourself. What do we do about air conditioners? And within that 1 minute mark, he'll tell you if this was a commercial roof, it would be up on a curb with flashing and counter flashing. So he knows that's the right way to do it. They just don't do it, you know, because they just want to run the product. They want to push product. They have all this product. They just need to move it. They need to get it on there, get it out, get another one sold, get another one sold. So going by that premise, again, if it's a lifetime roof, why are they wasting their time with these little campers? Why would they not go and try to, you know, secure like a big shopping mall, like I was just saying, or a big office building or whatever? Why would they not try to secure? You're going to make a lot more profit, a lot more. And you wouldn't have to look for as many campers, right? You wouldn't have to look for as many, we call it sales. You wouldn't have to look for as many sales, because you go up to a guy who owns a big shopping plaza, and, you know, a big corporation, go, hey, I can make that a lifetime roof. They'd be jumping all over it, you know? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't exist. So don't buy into all this hype. It just doesn't exist. If it did, we'd be joining the franchise. If all of those things worked, when we did commercial roofs, we had recovery machines, big sprayers, had roll formers that made special metal roofing panels like you see up on these fancy banks. Those things are expensive. They're like, oh, gee whiz, like 30 grand, $35,000. But you need them if you're going to do that type of work. So if they work, I just go buy the machine. It's not that hard to figure out. Be like, hey, this stuff works. So I put these roofs on because pound for pound, dollar for dollar, this is the best roof system for an RV, period. So if I found something that was better, I would do that. So I'm going to even go another step further, where as much as I like that TPO roof that we're going to put on here, on these slide outs, I don't put TPO. I use metal, because I don't think TPO is the right product for these. So I'm not a one-trick pony that just goes, hey, put it on here, put it there, here, that's all we got. I don't do that. I fabricate custom metal roof systems out of metal that'll fit this roof like a glove. So it's much better than the TPO on a slide. So I want to put the best product on, the best solution to solve these problems. I don't want them coming back. Customers don't want them coming back, meaning the issues. No one wants to redo another RV roof. So all that said, we're going to open this up. We're going to show you what that is. and you're gonna see the big mess. I think he's actually got that antenna up. A lot of guys don't like to be on YouTube. That's why I kind of have the camera down here or whatever if they're working. They don't like to be up on YouTube. And you know, honestly myself, I don't need to be on YouTube either. You know, I'm trying to show you information. Who cares? It's not about me. So that's why you won't see me in any of these videos. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber content. Skip the ads, by the way. You can skip them all. We don't monetize. YouTube does that. We don't monetize them at all. So all that said, let us tear this up, and then we're going to show you the damage underneath it. And again, I'm going to show you all this going on with the air conditioner. I think they got it glued down. Yeah, just take it, I guess. You want this over there? Try it that way. Look at all that rat right there. I don't know where his foot is. Alright, we're going to pull this out of the way. We'll show you what's going on with it. Alright, so we've got a sag in the roof, but it doesn't look like it's rotted. So that's a plus, that's for sure. Does it look like it's rotted?
No, it doesn't even really feel wet.
Okay, so the other issue with this is that, you know, water can obviously travel wherever, but this doesn't look like it's all rotted. That's a plus. But underneath here on the AC, right in this corner and on the opposite corner, that's how the AC drains. So now when the water drains and it's got a sag, it's draining and coming right back into the coach. So, you know, obviously it's getting wet underneath there. It just hasn't soaked in because you can see over here where you just pulled up. Look at it, it's just coming right up. So this is what's known as delamination. So this roof deck here, it has 3 plies to it. So look at the grain going this way, and then if you look, this grain is going this way, and then underneath the grain is going this way. And that's how they do it. They alternate the grain. That's what gives it its strength. But I mean, this is all buckled up. And this is where the antenna was, and that's what that was for there. So that propagated some of it, and now you've got your air conditioner failing into the roof system. So it's a combination of serious issues. So more than likely we're going to have to put a couple of trusses in here to support that air conditioner, is my guess. By the time we open it, I'm probably going to see that there isn't any trusses in there to support that. So most of the time there's not. So, and every time I open one up, hey, sometimes it's something a little different. Okay, is that a patch?
No, it's a satellite connector.
Oh, okay.
Weirdest place I've ever seen them.
Yeah, why would they put a satellite connector right there? I don't know. Well, let us get some more of this opened up. You can see we got a big gap right here. And this is how they want you to just keep putting more on, and that's why I joke about it. But I mean, think about it, you shouldn't have to keep doing that, you know? You shouldn't have to keep applying it. If the product works, you should be able to do it once and be done with it. When we do ours, we've never, ever had to replace all this caulking on a coach, ever, you know? So within 10 years, we haven't had to do it. And they come in for inspections, so, you know, it just doesn't happen if you're using the right products and using the right preparation. You're not going to have those issues. So if you look at all this mess, see the debris right there? All that debris gets into this gasket underneath here, and that's what compromises those gaskets. All that pollen, all that dirt will dry out that gasket. And it looks to me like that, you know, that gasket is kind of all mashed up. We're going to flip this AC. So it's just all mashed up. You can see the thickness right here is different than here. It's just not the same. It's all squashed. But these are where it drains. So if when the air conditioner is draining, it can't drain properly because it'll leak right back down. Now you get that slope. It's going to go right back into the coach. So you know, I'm sure we got delam on this coach. I mean, you can feel it in different areas, obviously right there. And then I felt another spot right in here. You can see that poofy. You can see that poofy right there. Lots of. So we got delam in here. So there's obviously gonna have to get redecked, and we're gonna have to straighten out this whole roof assembly before we even redeck it. All right, so check out all the rot. So we got a couple of areas there, but it's all boogered up on the side, and it's kind of delaminating itself. So, you know, like right here, so it's not worth trying to cut and patch. We're just going to rip it all up and then put a new roof deck down. You know, look at all this right here. There's no sense of cutting all the way up there and then having to cut that little section and try to patch in. That doesn't make sense. So we're just gonna rip it right up and replace it because it's all flaking anyways. And then this back here was wet, probably from the skylight, I'm sure. There's the skylight. You can see how it's already kind of separating right here. So that's why we're going to get rid of it all. We still obviously got the issues around there I showed you and all this. By the time we do all that cutting up, you might as well just replace the whole thing. You can see, like, so you see the glue here? That means it obviously was glued. See the glue there? No glue, no glue, no glue, no glue. So it's not even really down that well. So that's why it's probably coming up so easy. All right, roof deck up. That was quick. So they just boxed it out. That's what they normally do. There's no trusses in this roof at all. Zero. The ply foam roof, I like the composition of it, as long as it doesn't get wet, because it relies on this top piece and the ceiling piece to keep it strong. Once one side fails, whether it's the top deck side, roof deck side, or the ceiling side, once one of those gives, then it sags. But this is all they had to hold that air conditioner. So now down the road, you bounce it down the road, you know what some of these roads are like, ba-boom, 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 all that weight, or whatever, maybe an 80-pound air conditioner eventually, it caused that sag. So we're gonna dig this out. We're gonna put trusses in here. So we're probably not gonna do them for the vents, but we definitely need them for the AC. And then obviously just clean the rest of this crap up. But you can see, again, you can see how they put it on there, but the glue didn't obviously take too well in a lot of areas. You know, obviously there it did. And then you can see some of the streaks of it where they tried to pass it through with the sprayer, and you can see it's right here, but it's not, it didn't stick up here. That's smooth. That didn't even bond. So anyhow, that's our plan for that, to strengthen that up, and then that'll be good. And we'll have to bridge all this back up, and then I got to get some decking on here and glue it all back together. Yahoo! And we'll be checking everything else here too. I don't know if we like this too much. We'll check it out. If it's got any rot at all, some of it's just discoloration. I'm not worried about discoloration as long as it's not mold. But you're going to get that kind of tan, dark tan look. So all wood does that because wood has tannin in it, T-A-N-N-I-N, tannin, which causes it to discolor when it gets wet. So, all right. So we went down and got our moisture meter. So that little puddle that you're seeing right there, that was just us testing the air conditioner. That's not all this soaking in here, because that's soaked. So that right there is 23 or so. That's not the worst I've ever seen for sure, but we want it dried out. So then we have the antenna around here. That's more likely where a lot of it did come from as well. So, and obviously around there. So we're gonna check it all. We gotta make sure it's all dry. So foam should always be zero. If you're looking at this saying, hey, I can pick up some tips, this one tip I can tell you, foam will always be zero. So we'll say, for instance, we pulp this. Let me see that meter. Is it on? See how it reads zero? Nothing. If you're picking up moisture, you're picking up a reading, that means there's moisture down below the foam or in the foam somewhere. It doesn't really want to hold water, it just sips it through like almost like a sponge. So it doesn't like stay in it like it would, like it does on wood. So So that's what you want to do. Just go get yourself a half decent little moisture meter like that. I don't know, I think I got this at Home Depot or something, but it's real handy. This one is the Auto-Bill one, as you probably heard over there. And then obviously when the lights flash up, that's an indicator as well. But most of this, I mean, this is all dry. It's this section here, and we're going to dry it off. And then I don't know if you really can see the belly in this thing. It's bellying this way and it's bellying that way. So we pulled this up a little bit now. We went inside and we bridged it all up. So we've got a whole support system going down on the inside. I can't show you from here, but we've got jack poles all the way down the whole thing on the inside that we use to bridge it up. We need to get our camber back before we can glue anything back together. Get a knife. Just cut it.
I got a piece.
Let's try it. Just cut a piece. Seems like it's wet. There we go. It'll be fine. Let's see what's going on with it. See how much is in it. Okay, so, okay, let's see how far it goes. All right, so we are making some headway. So we've got some trusses in here. We wanted to bridge it up and give it some more strength. We added some more trusses over here on each side of the air conditioner. So we got trusses in there, obviously all phoned back together. Then we had a couple little gaps. We just filled it in. We're going to trim it all down, get it cleaned up. And then not only do we, this is a foam adhesive that we use to glue it all back together, but then we glued this piece, this truss, actually to the ceiling. And then this is the wall piece. I don't want the truss sitting on just the ceiling, so I made these brackets, and they go obviously sitting here, they go down and then they go underneath, so they're all secured in there, so all the weight is bearing up on the wall like it should, so it doesn't tax the ceiling out. So, and we had to make some repairs. We had a lot of the foam over here I showed you that was all wet. We took it out and we cleaned it up, replaced it with some new foam, and then and that's what we're doing now, just cleaning everything up. And this is going to be a piece of sheet metal that we need to put here because we need to have something to screw the antenna down to when we put the mounts and everything. We want to have something underneath it, so we'll do all that. But these are the trusses that I was telling you about right here. So that'll help carry the weight of the air conditioner. So that's what they should have done in the first place. This isn't the first one we've done like this. A lot of the Sunseekers have this issue. I've done quite a few like this. They're on the channel. So now we're just cleaning everything up. We're going to get some decking on here. So, and we're going to put 3/8 on here. There was 5 mil on here, or actually 1/8 inch on here, and we could have moved it up to 5 mil, which is twice as thick. But I'm going to go with 3/8. I'm going to be able to get that nice camber I still want. It's going to be a lot stronger, and obviously we got to glue it all back together and bring some of this so it's nice and nice and got the arch that I'm looking for is what I'm trying to say. But now when you have some arch this way, but if you look at the front here on this cap, it's almost flat. It's not flat, but it's almost flat. So it's not the same as this camber here. So what happens is when it rolls down the front, it just kind of flattens out a little bit over here for that front cap. So you may end up seeing the roof just kind of do one of those deals. But otherwise it looks pretty well, and we're ready to get some decking on here. All right, so we got everything all balanced out, and then what we did is we got this spray adhesive on here. That's what we got, this foam adhesive. So we're gluing all the roof deck down. We've got 2 already done up there. So now we're gonna glue everything back together, and she should be good. So that's why I wanted to use the 3/8 on this, because it has just a little bit more flex. Half inch would have been ideal, but then I would have had issues with that front piece that comes up. It would have been real hard to get it jammed up underneath there. So you have to pick the best one that's going to work, and I try to find that margin. So now we're just going to glue it down and get it all fastened in and do the next two. So now we got to put the shoulders down. A lot of times you'll see these shoulders, they pop up because all they do is simply put a few staples in them, but we want to glue them down. So we're going to glue them and we're going to fasten them down. All right, we have got the passenger side all rolled out. So we got our shoulders back on. I put a protective strip down here, probably didn't really need it, but there's some staples in there, and what really would have happened is you just would see these little dimples. I just didn't want to see them. We got some strips right here where our joints were, try to make them tighter, make them look cleaner. And we also put a protective strip over the back here. And then because of the transition and the way this was, that's one of the reasons why we put that on here. Did the same to the front. I don't want the roofing coming right over here and any of this fiberglass irritating the main roof. That's why I use these as a protector strip. All these protector strips are these. This comes in a 10-foot roll. So every time we slice it off the side, I just strip them down, and I made a little gizmo tool, and I can load them in there, and I just run a razor blade down real quick. So, but anyhow, it's ready to roll. And then after that, we can start getting the roof assembled, curbs, so forth, and start pulling back together. Now we're gonna roll it with this heavy roller. Make sure we get a good bond on it. So that's what we want to do. Get it all packed down. So we'll go back and forth maybe 5 times or so. Make sure it's down real well. You know. Also, we'll be walking on it, but I mean, it's there. This doesn't come up. It's not gonna come up. So if this gets misrolled, you're not gonna pull it up. I mean, it is a bear to come up. I mean, no joke. And we've had people get a little anxious on one side, and you get a little bubble or something in there, and I go, we got to peel it back. And I've literally had to get my fork truck up here and try to distress it out to get it, because it's not coming up. All done with our Sunseeker. We've got our little tag on there. We put that on there so when we have the coach come back for inspections, we know how old the roof is, you know, when it was put on, and if there's any abnormal wear. We've never had an issue with it, but also the good part about that is if the customer goes to sell the coach, we do transferable warranties. So somebody may say, hey, you know, I know those RV roofs, they all leak, yada, yada, yada. And he goes, hey, I just had that put on October 24th. So everything you see here, these are all the curbs. Custom make every single one of these for every coach. Whatever it takes, whatever the design is. I've done some for satellites, the big satellite dishes, I've done those. Whatever it takes, I custom build every single one of them. And they're all heat welded in. So this is all heat welded. This whole thing is all heat welded. And then this on the ladder, these ladders are known to kind of jiggle and wiggle around. There's a pourable sealer that goes in there, and it's like a rubber eraser. It'll always stay that way. And speaking of that, the whole roof will actually stay that way. You wash this roof down with just some dish soap and a bristle brush and just hose it off. Or you can run it through a truck wash. That's up to you, but you can pressure wash this roof. You can't usually pressure wash an RV roof because you usually blow off the coating and caulking and everything else. So a lot of places shy away from doing your typical RV roof, but this being a commercial membrane, it's not going to hurt it at all. So we've got everything, like you said, is all heat welded in here. And then let me go around this way and I'll show you some of the other stuff. So we don't put any, we take a little razor knife, probably clean that up, but we don't put any screws in our vents because these skylights, I know I said vents because there's vents with screws in it, on the skylights because they expand and contract a lot. So when you put a screw in here, and now when this expands with the sun, it pushes and it'll be pushing against the screw. And then when you get a thunderstorm, it's going to contract and it'll pull against the screw. And then you end up with these little hair fractures. So this minimizes that. Now, I can't say it will never crack because, you know, they're blown plastic. So I'm sure there's air bubbles in there somewhere that could possibly fracture out. So, I mean, that's something that I can't warranty. I don't know. They're the best ones we can find, and they're all about the same. It's just a Lexan that they use, and they just, like I said, they just blow it out. So on here you have obviously the exterior lens, and then on the inside you've got another lens. So in between is a cavity, and in between that cavity, when you, especially now that we're coming into, you know, the cooler times of the year, you may get some frost or dew on top of the lens. Well, not only is it cold here, it's also on the inside of this, much like when you get in your car, you get the dew and the condensation on the windshield, right? You put your defrosters on to get rid of all of that. Well, when the sun comes up, it'll evaporate what's on here, but what's on the other side of the inside of this, it can't do that. It'll tend to roll down, and then that's how you get some dry rot. And a lot of people, when they have leaks from especially around the skylight, it's a condensation issue, and now it comes down and it'll get, in this case, it would have gotten inside here and maybe rot out a curb, or it could get, if you obviously don't have a curb, then it would get into the roof deck, and then it starts rotting that out. So now if this is sitting on the roof deck, now that rotted wood, you got these screws that are popping up because there's nothing there, it's all rotted. So people think, hey, I know I need to go and put some more self-leveling on. They keep slobbering more self-leveling, and that's not going to fix it because it's actually now turned into a structural issue. So what we did on this one as well is we laced the whole inside, or shall I say cladded the inside with aluminum. So this whole box has got aluminum in it, and if this lens does crack, it's actually going to go down into the shower. It can't get into the roof, so we boxed it all off. And there's a piece of ductwork right in here. We got a little duct right in here. This is an intake, and that's my fan. So getting back to this issue with the condensation in between the two lenses, when that condensation starts getting that moisture in there, that when the sun comes up to evaporate this off, that fan will kick on. It's a solar fan, so you don't have to monitor it. So that fan will pull the air. There's a filter up in here, and it's all closed off, so you can't get any wasps or bees or anything in there, but it'll draw the air through, and it'll go over in between the two lenses, and it'll keep constant air cycling through. So it'll keep it nice and dry. So I'm trying to prevent a dry rot situation is what I'm doing. Now there's plumbing right here, and then there's a plumbing here. If these caps ever popped off, it's not going to be an issue because they're all sealed. There's no way it can leak. It'll only go down into a holding tank. So all these curves are all built the same way, in the sense where this would be considered a flashing, and then this would be what's called a counter flashing. So now as the rain is rushing across the roof, whether you're driving or heavy rain that you're standing still, it's going to come up here and it can't jump up on the curb. It'll get redirected around. That's the purpose of a counter flash. This is how a commercial roof functions. All flat roofs, and a lot of people say, oh, these aren't commercial roofs. This is a flat roof. Any, even a low slope, like less than a 4-pitch, is considered a flat roof, or they call them flat low slope roofs. But this, for all practical purposes, these RVs are flat roofs. So they're all the same way. All flat roofs are installed the same way. They don't do that at the RV place, the factories, because it just takes too much time for them to do it. And it's extra work and it's extra money for them. They just want to put it on as cheap as they can. And that's why they go, hey, you know what, let's just slap this on, and let's tell the customer to get out there and keep slobbering some more of that self-leveling on there. And hey, you know what, we can even, we'll sell it to them, of course, and they make a lot of money on that. And it's a dog chasing its tail. But this is the proper way to do a roof. That's why I'm not a proponent for the roll-on or spray-on type roof systems, because they don't solve the problem of having things elevated up off the roof line. You still have that issue. So especially around the air conditioners, that's a big concern. And we had to put in a couple of trusses on here. We already showed you that. So we had damage there. And that's a common occurrence. There's quite a few of them. I know there's another one, just recently we did another one. It was a Gulfstream, and it's a Class B, and that did the same thing. Failed, and we had to fix the sealant and everything. And that's extra money you'll have to pay to have things repaired that aren't covered under a spray or roll-on roof. So we'll say that the roof had curbs, like this one. They say, hey, I want to put that spray or roll-on on here. Well, sure, go ahead. That's what it was designed for in the first place, was a commercial roof. It wasn't really designed for an RV. All that polyurea and the TPO and all those coatings, they were designed for flat roofs. And people just jump on the bandwagon and go, hey, let's sell that to RV people. They don't know any better. Let's sell it to them. And it's a shame, because a lot of people fall for that. But there's no such thing as a lifetime roof. It doesn't exist. You can read their warranties and read all the exclusions and what you have to do and so on and so forth. It doesn't matter what company it is. They're all going to read roughly about the same. 20 years is what you're going to get out of that before you got to put a top coat on it. So if it worked that well, commercial buildings would be jumping all over it. Some company that owned a shopping plaza, they'd be having that on. They would never have to put a roof on. Those roofs can run into the millions of dollars, literally. So trust me, if there was a lifetime roof, they'd be putting it on there. So on the air conditioner, we have the same thing, the same flashing detail. But the other issue that concerns me is there is a foam gasket up there. And again, that's what I was just mentioning, how the foam gaskets fail. But in this case, it's all protected. The gasket's protected. It's up out of the way. It's got counter flash. Water's trying to run up. It gets redirected. Can't get up and around. And then the water that's coming down, there's another piece right here. So the water comes down. It pushes it below the counter flash, and it rolls out the bottom. That's how it just, you can't get water into there. It's done. So we put these little stands on the back. What those do is just gives it balance so the air conditioner doesn't want to teeter-totter. You got 4 bolts up here, and I just want to make sure it doesn't overstress those bolts as you're driving down the road and the thing is kind of bouncing all over the place. Keeps it nice and even. So this is their Winegard 360 that they had on the camper when they brought it in. And up underneath here was all hollow. There was nothing there. If you flip this over, it was a bowl, and there's a circuitry board up inside here. So when we took that off, I had to just route this to put the antennas back in, and then we mount them up like this. So now all the water can get out. It's not getting caught. It can wash right out of there, and you can wash up underneath there as well and be done with it. If anything ever happened and you need to replace this, well, all you have to do is just take these off. You still would have to make another plate. So, but we set this up where you could probably even put a different antenna on there as well. Winegard makes an automatic. So that's how we got all those. They're obviously all galvanized, and there's they're bolted into here. So you can't just bolt anything on here in the sense of, like, if you said, hey, I want to put solar on here. This is a ply foam roof, and unless you have some stock inside the roof system built in there, like some metal or something that you can actually get a screw to bite to, you really shouldn't be putting solar on, because it's not going to be strong enough to hold that force of the wind traveling up underneath it and wanting to lift it up. So that said, we put plates under here. There's steel plate up underneath the redeck that we did. So the original roof, we put plate down, and then we clad over it with the new decking. So now it's all tight and everything's all glued in there. And then we have something solid that we can secure that to. So this roof system here is a 60 mil commercial grade TPO. It's the same exact roof you're going to find on a library. You're going to find it on a hotel. You're going to find it on a restaurant. Same exact material. So not only do we take you out of an RV roofing material and upgrade you to commercial, on a commercial level, these roofs start off at 45 mil. So that's a little thinner than this. We upgraded yet again to a 60 mil. So we got you out of an RV roof, upgraded you to commercial, and then upgraded you one more time. So these are a very, very strong roof system. You're not going to just be able to cut it, resist hail, resist tree branches. It'll always stay nice and clean like this. All you have to do, like I said, is just wash it, as I was saying earlier. So they're easily patchable. If you had a tree branch hit this, we can do a hot patch right on here, and it won't affect the warranty at all. It'll bond right to it. So, if there was a better system out there than this, I would just be doing it. So, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, this is the best system that I found all around for it. And most of the people that come to us, they're not looking for the cheapest way out. They're looking for the long-term, no issues. So, if anything, you bring these in annually for an inspection, and if we inspect it every year, if you have any issues with anything we did or whatever, any leaks or whatever, we're going to tend to that. We're going to tend to the collateral damage. So we're going to make sure it's right for you. We just don't go, well, unlike the other companies that don't warranty AC leaks or antenna leaks, they don't warranty those. They also don't warranty the collateral damage from them. So we're not that kind of company. So let me see, I got some props over here, and I'll show you that. So this is all our information right here. So you can, these are the colors we currently have. These are standard colors, gray, white, tan. And then you can see there's our website if you want to go there. And these are what we generally will put on someone's coach if they don't mind. And then, like I said, we got free annual inspections. It doesn't cost anything. So we encourage people to do it. If folks don't want to come back, the warranty on the roof system itself is 20 years. So if you know how to inspect it, that means, and this goes with anything, any product that's out there, 20 years is going to be for the product, this product, the product, okay? They don't know who's installing it. So that Dicor and Alpha and whatever else you're putting on there is for the material. And they'll say the material is rated for 20 years. So this is considered a 20-year roof system designed to be out on a commercial building 24/7, enduring all of the elements. RVs don't see all that. They don't see that at all. So you're going to get probably 25 plus years out of this. Then down the road, if you look like it's looking weathered, it needs some love, needs some attention, then you can go back and you can put another recovery system on top of this, and you'll get a lot more life out of it even at that. So you never have to take the roof off. You know, I don't like to just say, hey, it's a lifetime roof. Technically, yes, it is, but they don't tell me it's a lifetime roof, so I'm not going to try to spin some words and make it seem, you know, more than what it is. This is a 20-year commercial membrane. It's a reinforced membrane. So what that means is, you can see some of the squares right here. That's a weave in there. That's what resists against hail, tree branches, things like that. So, and again, it's a real durable system. When we do the gutters, we glue the gutters on, and then when we glue these on here, this is an insert trim, but every one of these screws are all sealed. Every screw is sealed. So now we push it up, put those screws in, we get caulking that burps up. When that caulking burps up, then we strike it down. And see how that track is in there? See the groove? It's going to fit in that track. So now it's in the track and outside the track. That's why I like this. We don't sell any of this, but I have to buy like 2 miles at a time, almost 2 miles at a time. It's like 10,000 feet. That's almost 2 miles. So, but that's why I like this insert trim, because it gets right in the track. I got another one to show you here if that wasn't good enough. But you can see the little groove there. And you can see how it fits into that slot. So this is your typical right here, and it just slides back and forth. And what I don't like about it is that water can still get in there and down into that track, and this locks it out. Also, this has a little more of a bulb to it, so when the water comes around, it'll actually adhere to this and go and drain into the gutter. So for all those reasons, I like it, and it just lasts longer too. So getting back to the rail, once we put that on, then we strike it down and we put another pass of caulking on there. Once that cures, we put yet another pass on there. So my thinking is, if we just do the one pass, there's obviously, if you've ever used a caulking gun and you start squeezing the trigger, you're going to hear it kind of pop and crackle. You just injected an air bubble. And these kind of move around a lot. So if that air bubble breaches, you potentially have a leak. And I don't want to have potential leaks. So I figure, what are the chances of having one air bubble land on top of another? So that's why we do 2 passes. And it looks a lot cleaner. You know, as you look at this roof, this is a clean roof. This is how a roof should look. Not slobbered over with all that self-leveling stuff. So I think that's about it. I think I covered everything. And we don't sell anything at all. These aren't necessarily a DIY channel. You know, we do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I can't see, sometimes the videos get really long. And also skip the ads. I think I said that earlier. Skip the ads. That's a YouTube thing. We don't monetize. That's a YouTube thing. So you're not hurting my feelings none. We post these up here so the customer can see all the work we did. And, you know, because everybody's got questions. And this is the best way for me to show or tell them, you know, hey, we did this, we found that, we fixed this, we fixed that, that type thing. And again, also, if they ever wanted to sell this coach, they go, hey, there's a video on this. They just did the roof. This is my video right here of the roof they did. And I've had quite a few people that have bought coaches because they've watched the video and saw the amount of work we did to it, and also knowing that we're going to do a transferable warranty on it. So I think that's about it. Like I said, if you like it, hit the like button. I guess that's what, I'm not really a tech guru person, but from what I understand from other YouTubers, that if you like the video, it sends it out and people can find it. I don't know. Anyhow, we appreciate y'all watching, and you can reach us here at rvroofinstall.com. There's a telephone number if you got any questions. We don't quote on social media. Sometimes people say, hey, how much was this? How much was that? Give us a call. Everybody's got their own kind of quirks, and there's different coaches with different issues and so forth. So, you know, and, you know, we want to make sure we're addressing all of your concerns when we start quoting everything. So, well, we appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you on the next one. Package. Right. So in our care package we have caulking, we got primer, we have got 2 patches. Those are heat patches. We got a patch peel and stick patch. We got a checker tool. We've got a magnet. And the rest of this is just pens, keychains, brush, nozzle. Okay, so if we have a hole in the roof, and we'll simulate a hole. You can do hole simulations. We say we got a hole there. Here's your tree branch come through and you're like, oh man, I got a hole in my roof, it's leaking. So what you want to do, and it's raining out. Right now it's raining, you're like, crap, I gotta stop that leak. You want to get in there, and if you can't get that nozzle in there, don't worry about it. Make it a little bigger. What you try and do, you need to get up underneath the roofing, like this. This is what we need to do, get up underneath the roofing. Then you're going to take and you're going to put this up inside there, and you're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hopefully this thing is plugged up. There it goes. You squeeze, squeeze. You want to try and get up underneath this part too. Squeeze up underneath there. Put some more underneath there. Well, we are getting this thing all boogered up. Then what we're going to do, you're going to push it together. See how it oozes out? That's sealed. You're done. This is a moisture cured product. So what? It's a hot mess. Looks terrible. Who cares? Keep the water out. So now, the next day, we're going to go up there, and that's going to be cured looking like that. So we're going to take a knife, and you just shave it down. Just shave it down with a knife. I'm just going to obviously wipe this off. Now you say, hey, I want something a little better than that. So what we're going to do is get some cleaner. This is a terrible rag. You got another one. You got one on you? Oh, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag. What you gonna talk about, man? Nope, just leave it alone. Oh, leave it alone right now. We're recording now? Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, so now we cleaned it off with a knife. I just washed that off because it's still wet. Take that off. So now we got a patch. This is a peel and stick patch. We're going to take that, we're going to center it over there. Just take a pen and go around like this. I like to kind of put a dash like that so I know who's where, what, and where, and how. So now there's what I got. So in the package we got primer. We also have a brush. You're going to take that, you're going to go all inside the square. You're also going to go outside this square about 3/8 of an inch. Outside about 3/8 of an inch or so. Once you get that, there's a film on the back. You peel the film, now you know which side you are, see, because there's your marks. And you peel that film back. Get the fingers, fat fingers in there to get the film off of this thing. This is just a regular roof tape. That's all it is. We put them in all the care packages. Get that daggone thing off of there. Probably need some fingernails. Probably help. Come on. There it is. Okay. Oop, hit, hit, there it is. Now you got the film. We take that film. So now we're going to line it back up with this. We already got the primer under there. You just peel the film back, and as you do, you just rub it down like this. Sometimes that film will get a little stuck in there. This is just a butyl. You just kind of try to keep it as even as you can and flat as you can. Boom, you're done. There it is. So now, out here, this is where your primer is. You put the primer on there. You got primer there, and now you're going to put primer here. You want to prime all this area with your brush. Prime all that. Then you're going to come back. Once you get it all primed, then you're going to put a little bit of caulking on it, just like this. That's simple. It doesn't all sit in there. You can always take your finger and go around it if you want. We're trying to obviously stop a leak and make one of. There's going to be a little more permanent of a patch than just that plug that we did when it was raining. So now that we get that all done, the whole purpose of it is this part here. This part underneath here, that's a butyl. When the sun hits that, if you didn't have the caulking on there, it will cause it to release and curl up just like I'm doing here. And it'll start coming loose. That's why you need the primer. That's why when you prime it, you're going to prime on top of this because nothing will stick to it. Nothing, the caulking will not stick to this patch, and it won't stick to the roof unless you use the primer. That's how you do a patch. Ta-da! All done.